Hey, what's going on, guys? Today is Sunday, March 22nd. This is John. I'm filming from my home here in New Jersey. First and foremost, I hope everyone is doing well. Hope you and your family are safe, you're healthy, and you're coping as best as possible with this new way of living. This is what I wanted to do in this video and check in. I wanted to offer some helpful tips and suggestions about how I'm finding helpful with this living at home thing as a full-time job. 9 p.m. last night, New Jersey has announced that people must maintain living at home and being socially distant unless they have to go out for reasons like picking up drugs at a pharmacy, grocery shopping, things like that. So for all of us, this is scary, it's weird, it's uncomfortable, and it's uncertain. And uncertainty brings stress and anxiety. So I want to offer some helpful tips around 3 key themes: time management, health management and nutrition, and finances. First of all, time management is a bit awkward because we all, oh, here comes Cameron. Want to say hi?
Hello.
Cameron has started to work from home, doing schoolwork virtually as of last Monday, so it's been about a week. And she has an amazing teacher who the other day surprised her just to say hi. She traveled around the town, drove to each of her students' house, right?
Everybody.
Were you here? Tell everyone, were you surprised?
Very surprised. And she went to all my friends' house.
She went to all her friends' house. Maybe I'll put a picture to show you what we took because she just surprised her here. She thought it was such a nice gesture. And I think these are interesting times where we see the human nature come out. I'm seeing people riding bikes outside and going for walks with their families. People trying to do more than just sitting on an electronic device. Oh, here's the other part of the crew. That's Graham and Steph. Graham just got up from a nap. But back to the agenda. So time management is what I wanted to start with, because right now we are used to filling our times with different things. Some of us may had to have gotten up and traveled to an office for work. Some of us may be used to running errands, meeting up people for coffee or lunch, taking your children to events or activities. Now all this has fallen on its side because our time now has to be filled as best as possible in our homes. So unless we are careful, we can turn into complacent people, we can get lazy, and we can waste time doing mindless things. So time management is important now more than ever. How I've been managing my time is to some extent not different from what I've been doing for the last year, a lot of which I've been chronicling on my YouTube channel, which is filling my time with daily habits. Habits like reading, doing things like meditation and stretching, trying to look at my goals and see how I can continue to make myself better compared to the day before, the month before. Yes, it's true that this new schedule of having to be at home requires me to be a bit creative, but I'm thinking about that and I'm doing that. I'm not just sitting on my couch thinking I have a snow day and watching TV. I'm not just surfing the web. I'm not just scrolling through YouTube or Facebook. So time management is focusing on really important things. For yourself, spending time with your family, figuring out who you haven't spoken to lately and catching up with them. Whose smile can you put on someone's face? Contacting someone. Can you reach out to check in and see how they're doing? Who do you want to contact and say hi? How are you managing your time in terms of, bettering yourself, your personal development? These are things we should be thinking about on a daily basis. What kind of things did you always wanted to do? Do you have a piano that's dusty and you want to pick that back up, spend some time learning how to blog or trying to set up a website? I mean, there's now things you can do that you maybe couldn't do before because your time has been spent doing a lot of daily things relating to your job or whatnot. So I really encourage you to look at seeing how you're spending your time and bringing value to this, because these are the times you can actually grow and you don't have to contract and you don't have to sit idle. So that's some tips I wanted to share there. Some things I've been doing to improve myself in terms of my time. I've been working out in my house. I do things just calisthenic related. Yes, it's true. I do have the benefit of certain weights. Maybe I'll post a program doing a workout routine in my house. My daughter is getting involved in helping out. She's doing things like push-ups and working out with some weights. So I do things from a perspective of working out. I have a piano sitting, electric piano sitting in my closet, which I'm going to get out and I'm going to learn. That's my keyboard. You know that. Get back to playing the piano a bit because that was something I've learned over the years and enjoy doing. Also, we've been just taking walks around the block with the family and trying to get out, get some fresh air. But my point is don't look at this time as an endless snow day. Now is a time for you to catch up on things that maybe you couldn't, because I'm sure there's one or two things that happens to be that way for all of us. Topic 2 is dealing with health and your nutrition. This is probably one of the most problematic things, because living at home for an extended period of time puts us in a position to eat in ways we normally don't, snack more than we normally do, eat at different hours or all times of day, which will add calories. Adding calories will put more fat on us. Putting more fat on us over an extended period of time will put us out of shape. I've spent a year of my life really trying to get into the best shape I can. Now, while I know I can't really continue to grow my skeletal muscle mass as much as I can, one thing I know I can do is maintain a level of nutrition, do as much as I can to sustain and maintain my health and well-being. And this is things people should do as well. One example of this is intermittent fasting. I've been talking about intermittent fasting on many of my videos, and intermittent fasting is not a diet. It's a meal timing plan, which means I eat during an 8-hour window and I don't eat for 16 hours. I am very militant with this, and definitely at times like this is very important, because it's very important to keep a level of caloric intake, especially if I'm not working out, to burn a lot of calories that I normally would do. I know that my body burns around 2,000 calories every day if I'm living a sedentary lifestyle. What I'm trying to do now is keep a balance of that. Even though I'm not burning as much as I normally would at the gym, I still manage my caloric intake with intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is simple. Again, I eat during an 8-hour window and I don't eat for 16 hours. Last night I ate some foods I normally wouldn't eat, and I ate late at night. We ordered out. I had some pizza. I had a turkey and cheese sub. I had some mozzarella sticks. I mean, this is not normally food I would eat on a daily basis, but we're eating this way because we're forced to eat out, and we're trying to support our local restaurants. And I'm not eating raw fish and sushi like I normally do, because that may have the possibilities of bringing germs into the house. Who knows? My point is we're all off in terms of our schedule. We're all off on our habits. So I ate late last night. I had my last meal at 9 p.m. What does that mean? That means I'm not eating 9, 10, 11, 12, 1 till at minimum 1 p.m. today. I haven't had anything. It's almost 1 p.m. I think now. Maybe it's a little after. But I haven't had anything except coffee. And that coffee was black, no sweetener, no milk, nothing. This has now helped offset the calories I'm burning, because if I were to eat at 9 p.m. last night and I woke up and at 8 o'clock in the morning I started to have some breakfast, my caloric intake is going to be off. The amount of calories I'm burning is not going to be managed properly to the amount of calories I'm ingesting. I highly encourage people to not just look at diets, but look at intermittent fasting, because I've found this to be extremely valuable to burning fat and keeping a particular body weight. That's point 1. Point 2, I don't have a silver bullet answer, or I don't have a crystal ball to say here's how you should eat. We are in a house. We can't eat out and go to restaurants. Maybe you can order in and so on, but the level of restaurants you can order from has changed. You just have to manage it as best you can. And while we can't always be creative into what we eat, how and when we eat is what we can manage. And this is what I'm talking about now. And I would definitely encourage you guys to be very mindful of this. I still keep to some of the diets I have. For example, if you've noticed, one of the things I always eat in the beginning of the day is my oatmeal. I have the same oatmeal every day as the first meal of the day. I have eggs. These are the first meals I'm eating when I come out of fasting. and everything I'm eating after that is a bit up in the air. But the intermittent fasting is really helping keep my caloric intake in check. We talked about time management, a bit about health and nutrition. The last topic I wanted to talk about is finances, because these are extraordinary times where we're living in a situation where the market's tanked more than 30% in just less than 2 months. People who are nearing retirement are figuring out what the heck they're going to do. People in the service industry, like your personal trainers, your bartenders. Hey, babe.
Are you starting over or?
No, I didn't. I'm just picking up where you left off. Service, these are kind of people with service jobs who are unfortunately out looking for work. They're not making money like they normally did, and they're just trying to survive. And I get that. And it's really difficult, right? What I wanted to emphasize is extraordinary times like this do present a level of opportunity if we're in positions to take advantage of it. I've been fortunate that over the last year, I focused first on building up an emergency fund so that I can survive for 6 to 8 months if I didn't have a job. That brings me peace of mind. And then when that bucket was full, meaning my emergency fund was fully funded, I also put money aside, waiting for opportunities to invest. I missed that opportunity during 2008, 2009. I was just about 8 years or so into my career. I did have a decent starting point of like $70,000 or $80,000 saved, maybe 100, maybe it was even more than that. Maybe it was 100, 125,000 saved in a 401k, but I didn't have any real savings. I wasn't thinking about long-term investing as much in other categories of savings. I didn't have an emergency fund. So when I saw the market dip and I said I'd love the opportunity to invest, I didn't have the chance to do so. I didn't make that same mistake this time. I funded an emergency fund to take care of myself and my family. I put money aside so that I can invest. Fortunately, bonus season came right as the market started to come down, so that really helped supplement my savings. It injected a lot of money in my 401k when prices were down. But during this downturn, I took the opportunity to invest in things like certain blue chip companies like your Starbucks, Chevron, and Exxon. I invested in certain index funds in the technology sector, in the S&P 500 sector, which is the general Vanguard fund. Not a ton, probably around 5,000 to 6,000, but this is money I'm comfortable investing, maybe even losing a little bit because I'm in this for the long term. The key here is long term. I have 20 years left in my career before I'm even thinking about retirement. If you're in a situation where you're 10 to 20 years out, try not to panic. Try not to get so emotional. Try not to check your 401k every time CNN's telling you it's down another 500, 1,000, 2,000 points. I get it, it's stressful. But if you pull your money out, you're gonna miss the upturns. If you try to time the market and buy when you're at the down or when you're at the bottom, you're also unlikely to be sustaining long-term goals because timing the market never works for anyone. Even I think the best stockbrokers or the best investors don't time the market. They say don't try to worry about how to time the market. Instead, worry about how much time you're in, how much time you're investing. If you're investing, like for me, I invest in certain categories on a regular basis. Every paycheck, which is twice a week, I contribute to my 401k. Even if the market's down, I don't really care. I keep investing. With stock, if you invest every week, every month, just invest that same amount at the same time on the same schedule without worrying about if the market's up or down. It's called dollar cost averaging, which means on average over the long term, your money will grow. Hi, babe. Tell me.
Graham ate bananas.
Graham ate bananas?
And he had a big one and he ate it.
Wow. So Graham is our 4-month-old son who's now trying to convert from what? A bottle or formula to
food to eat. So he's now starting to eat bananas.
Whoa.
Bananas.
So mommy is doing what? She's
feeding him
feeding.
fresh banana.
Maybe we'll quickly go take a look shortly. Awesome news. See? People are hitting milestones in their life, even during this time of crisis. So guys, what's my final comments on finances? Look, I know everyone's life is different. I appreciate and am blessed, and my family on the daily is grateful for the things we have in our lives, because we always know things could be a lot worse. And there are people in this world right now that are going through tremendous hardships. And we hope that maybe to some extent the stimulus package that the president and the Congress is trying to pass can help inject money into families, inject money into the economy, and hopefully soon situations will improve. In the meantime, if you're in a position to consider what to do with money, my advice would be, first, secure yourself with an emergency fund savings. Have at least 3 to 6 months worth of savings. I know this advice coming at this time is a bit ridiculous. I'm just sharing what we did when times were good, when things were predictable, when I wasn't worrying about the economy. Worrying about a savings fund that is an emergency fund is priority one. We put money in a bank account. At the time, the yield or the interest rate was good. It was like 1.8% with a Synchrony bank account online. Now that 1.8 is down to 1.5, and it's probably going to go down even more because Fed's lowering the rate. And when the Feds lower the rate, that means the bank's rates are going to be even worse. Hey, babe.
Are you going to show them?
Yeah, I'm just done. Once I'm done, we'll do that. Putting money aside for emergency fund was priority one. When that bucket was full, putting money aside where the opportunity to invest was there was the second option. If people are going to be getting $1,500, $2,000, whatever that number is that the government's trying to send, and you need that money to live, to pay your bills, to pay your mortgage, I get it. That's critical point number one. If you have the flexibility to do something with that money, I highly encourage you to shave a little bit off of that money, put that money aside, and look at an opportunity to invest it. If you have the chance to look 10, 20 years ahead. And not panic. That's the other point here. Try to remove emotion from this situation. If you're 10 plus years away from retiring, take the emotional game out of the equation as much as possible. Look at ways for this to be an opportunity to look at your portfolio over the long term. Trust that over the long term, 10, 20 years, things will bounce back. Right now, it's hard to see that, but that's how I'm trying to stay sane, not trying to just withdraw my money and make rash decisions, because over the long term, things will get worse. Your opportunity for growth over the long term will get worse. This is it, guys. I hope some of this information was helpful. I know not all the information I shared is applicable to everyone, but that's basically just some helpful tips I wanted to offer, because times right now are a bit stressed. I think my daughter here would like to offer you some advice, so let's bring her back up.
What do you mean?
Did you want to say something?
No, I wanted them to see you.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll do that now. So we're gonna put my wording on pause. Cameron would like me to show a little bit about what's going on in the kitchen, so we'll be right. Okay, we are navigating outside of the dining room where I was filming, and we are now in our kitchen. There is Steph feeding Graham, who's now, oh boy, Graham is starting to eat some food. Amazing. We've got homemade smushed bananas.
Yep.
How is that, bud?
Show
Is that good? Good boy. What a big boy. There's the big sister. Loves her little brother.
Can I have one cookie?
And this is
Grab a
our
paper
family
towel.
room.
Daddy, take them a tour.
I just mounted this TV, which was a chore. I've been spending a week waiting for it. So the cool thing with this is it tilts and we can watch TV from the kitchen.
Can you give them a whole tour?
I don't think we need to give a whole tour of the house.
Just downstairs and my room, just my room.
Why don't we do that another time, because everything's a bit messy right now. Here's a view of our kitchen. We're trying to get some work done in the house, but we're not sure if we're going to have people come in and do work during this time. But one thing we are looking to do, if you can see, I leveled ground and put a platform out there because we're installing a full home generator. In the event the power goes out, the whole home will work. We only need an electrician and one plumber to work outside for that, so we'll likely and hopefully do that.
Can I
No.